Access denied. Are the findings of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act equal for special education students?
Is it equal for special education students? The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, passed by the United States Congress in 1975, is intended, quote, to ensure that all children with disabilities have available to them a free, appropriate public education that emphasizes special education-related services designed to meet their unique needs and prepare them for further education, employment, and independent living. Title 20 of the United States Code, Chapter 33. Special education from the student point of view. I was in special education in elementary school and middle school, experienced the consequences of it in high school and beyond. I'm David Potter. I survived special education, not a joke.
Access denied. Are the findings of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act equal for special education students?
Let's look at Title 20 of the United States Code, Chapter 33, Section 1400. What does the law say? Lowercase a, short title. This chapter may be cited as the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, but needs to change in the law. The title was changed from Education for All Handicapped Children Act of 1975 and 1990, from Identity First to Person First. A link in the show notes explains the preference for Identity First. Of course, during the 1980s, handicap became unacceptable. References to the original name also refer to the current name. What does the law say? Lowercase c. Findings. Congress finds the following. 1. Disability is a natural part of the human experience and in no way diminishes the right of individuals to participate in or contribute to society. Improving educational results for children with disabilities is an essential element of our national policy of ensuring equality of opportunity, full participation, independent living, and economic self-sufficiency for individuals with disabilities. What needs to change in the law? Yes, it is essential, but the desired results are impossible under current law as well as the beliefs that led to the law. What does the law say? 2. Before the date of enactment of the Education for All Handicapped Children Act of 1975, Public Law 94-142, the educational needs of millions of children with disabilities were not being fully met because A. The children did not receive appropriate educational services. B. The children were excluded entirely from the public school system and from being educated with their peers. C. Undiagnosed disabilities prevented the children from having a successful educational experience. Or D. Lack of adequate resources within the public school system forced families to find services outside the public school system. What needs to change in the law? Add disability to 20 U.S.C. 39, which covers race, sex, color, and national origin. Also, exclusion and lack of diagnosis how the system operates today. The Facebook page at NotAJokeNet, without the dot, features news stories, opinion, and memes demonstrating this is the case. Even with this law, disabled children are still being excluded. What does the law say? 3. Since the enactment and implementation of the Education for Handicapped Children Act of 1975, this chapter has been successful in ensuring children with disabilities and the families of such children access to a free, appropriate public education and in improving educational results for children with disabilities. 4. However, the implementation of this chapter has been impeded by low expectations and an insufficient focus on applying replicable research on proven methods of teaching and learning for children with disabilities. What needs to change in the law? Number 3 demonstrates that the system is in place. Number 4 demonstrates that the system in place is not addressing the real issues, in part from low expectations and possibly wrong research and teaching methods. What does the law say? 5. Almost 30 years of research and experience has demonstrated that the education of children with disabilities can be made more effective by A. Having high expectations for such children and ensuring their success to the general education curriculum in the regular classroom to the maximum extent possible in order to, lowercase Roman numeral 1, meet developmental goals and, to the maximum extent possible, the challenging expectations that have been established for all children, and lowercase Roman numeral 2, be prepared to lead productive and independent adult lives to the maximum extent possible. What needs to change in the law? The maximum extent possible is a key phrase here. What is the maximum extent? Maximum extent determined by the disability or the system this law created. What does the law say? Skipping B and C. D. Providing appropriate special education and related services and aids and supports in the regular classroom to such children whenever appropriate. What needs to change in the law? Aids and supports in the regular classroom must be the priority. As the Facebook page shows, this isn't the case. It's also either or. Special education based on what the system perceives the needs are, or the regular classroom without support. Some children can't communicate their needs, or the method of communication is treated as the problem. It's lose-lose for the child, even if the parents win in a disagreement. What does the law say? Skipping E. F. Providing incentives for whole school approaches, scientifically based early reading programs, positive behavioral interventions and supports, and early intervening services to reduce the need to label children as disabled in order to address the learning and behavioral needs of such children. What needs to change in the law? This is saying that the system created the disabilities, and instead of changing the disabled person, change the system. What does the law say? Skipping G. H. Supporting the development and use of technology, including assistive technology devices and assistive technology services, to maximize accessibility for children with disabilities. What needs to change in the law? Since 1975, technology moved forward. Since 1990, it moved forward at a faster rate. Accessibility is the issue, not the disability. What does the law say? Skipping 6 and 7. 8. Parents in schools should be given expanded opportunities to resolve their disagreements in positive and constructive ways. What needs to change in the law? Regardless of how parents in schools resolve disagreements, the child suffers the consequences. What does the law say? Skipping 9 to 13. 14. As the graduation rates for children with disabilities continue to climb, providing effective transition services to promote successful post-school employment or education is an important measure of accountability for children with disabilities. What needs to change in the law? The Bureau of Labor Statistics on February 24, 2021 released a labor force characteristics summary for 2020. The pandemic is a factor in the data, but otherwise unchanged from before the pandemic. 1. 17.9% employed among the disabled. 61.8 among the non-disabled. 2. Unemployment rates are higher for the disabled than the non-disabled. 3. 29% of disabled workers were part-time. 4. Those employed tend to be self-employed. 5. Disabled people are less likely to be employed than the non-disabled. 6. Disabled people are less likely to complete a bachelor's degree. Those who do are more likely to be employed. 7. Disabled people are more likely to work in service occupations or be self-employed. 8. Disabled, 12.6% unemployment. Non-disabled, 7.9%. 9. Disabled, 8 in 10 not in the labor force. Non-disabled, 3 of 10. Disabled tend not to be in the labor force. 10. There are those who are not seeking a job that affects the numbers based on how the system is set up. Link in show notes. The system was not designed to include the disabled. Why isn't the system held accountable for successful post-school employment and education for the disabled? How does this law impact my life? I was in special education in preschool, elementary school, and middle school. I delivered newspapers during the first 3 years of high school. I quit to participate in school activities during my senior year. I did graduate high school and did earn an associate's degree at the hometown community college and a bachelor's degree at a state university. I want to work, but I haven't. The system isn't designed to actually meet my needs.
Is it equal for special education students? Is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act working as intended? Is it preparing disabled students for further education, employment, and independent living? Visit the website at notajoke.net. I'm David Powder. I supervise special education, not a joke.